Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome to my channel. So this is going to be I think this is going to be the first of my graduate school series I am putting on my channel. This episode, this part is talking about just general application tips, tricks, stuff I learned during my application process that I really think would benefit you all. Some of the stuff is a little geared towards psychology, but most of it's pretty general and it will help you apply to graduate school. So let's get started. Okay, tip number one is find the correct grad school for you. You can't apply if you don't know what grad school program is best for you. And what I mean is what is best for you in a grad school program is not going to be the same as what's best for me. So I think some of the things, first of all, you need to look at is what are your long-term goals. And sometimes I feel like, I know I did for a little bit, got caught up in like going to school and I wasn't thinking long term. And so like one of my long-term goals is to open a family resource center. And so I was like, what type of programs would give me the skills and the necessary contacts and the necessary know-how to get to that point. And so that should be what you're thinking of. The sun is doing crazy stuff. That's why the lighting does this weird thing. So that should be like your first thing. And then once you establish what kind of program you're looking for, then you can move on and look at location. You can look at post-school opportunities. Sorry, my dog is like staring me down. Post-school opportunities. Is the program like research-based or is it more practice-based? What skills are you looking to learn? And then from there, you can kind of narrow down your list of what schools you want to apply to, and it'll be a much better process. You won't be spending ungodly amount of money on schools you don't want to go to. Okay, tip number two. Well, it's not really a tip. It's kind of like steps. I don't know, whatever. Number two, you need to research your application materials. So each program sort of has similar application materials, and so like for what you use to apply for like a PhD program may look different than like med school or law school, but they kind of all like have a set number of materials that they require, right? And so you need to look up what type of standardized tests do you need to take. Do you need to take the GRE, the LSAT, the MCAT, the PCAT, I'm trying to think, the GMAT, any of those sorts of things. You need to know that up front so that by the time you get ready to apply, you already have taken the test, right? You need to look at if you need letters of recommendation, how many letters of recommendations, how are they submitted. Some schools use like a Common App. I don't know if people know what Common App is. You should if you're going to grad school. It's like a I don't know. Some schools use like a Common App system to use or to submit their application materials so that you don't have to do it per individual school. You just submit it to the Common App. So like for public health, they use SOFAs. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I'll put the website down here. And it's like a Common App and you use to apply to MPH programs. So you need to look into that. You need to look into how many letters of recommendation, how they're submitted. If you need to write a statement of purpose or any type of like personal statement, you need to look into that, look at the prompts, because most of the time they're pretty similar for each school, but just, you know, so that you get a general idea of what application season is going to look like for you. If you need to provide a writing sample, I know some of the schools I applied to needed a writing sample, so if you know that ahead of time, it helps so that when you're applying, you're not like thrown off guard, like, oh shoot, I need a writing sample. You'll already have it. Okay, so number three is make yourself sort of a timeline or just a general idea of when you want to get your application stuff done. So I would suggest that over the summer, like before you apply, or even just like a few weeks before school starts, before you apply, work on your personal statement. Either study, well, I would recommend studying for your standardized test and or taking that standardized test so that that is already done by the time you're ready to submit your applications. And then like that first week of school, you can send out letters of recommendation requests. Well, maybe not the first week, but the second week. But giving yourself a timeline helps you stay on track, because you don't want it to be like at the end of the deadline and you don't know what is done, what isn't done, what needs to be done. If you just make yourself a timeline or a schedule to get stuff done, it helps a lot along the way, because applying to grad school is like applying for a billion jobs in one. It's like really difficult and it's time consuming. So you want to make sure you allot for enough time for all of that stuff, like your letters to get there. You want to allot for your transcripts getting there. Sometimes that takes forever. Sometimes sending your standardized test scores takes a long time. And so you just want to make sure that you have enough cushion room, cushion room to submit your application, so that everything's in on time and you don't have to worry about those things. Okay, number 4. Make sure you double, triple, quadruple check your application materials. That includes your resume, your CV. Make sure you have somebody review it, especially your personal statement and your CV. I think I would highly suggest having somebody who is in those fields that you're aspiring to go into look over those things, because they will know sort of like the nuances for their, like, I don't know, like graduate school culture or whatever. So they know what that type of field is looking for in a CV, in a personal statement, and they can help tailor it more so than, you know, the librarian or your mom or whoever you're having read it. But I did have my mom read it just to make sure that like it made sense to like the regular people. I don't know, I just made sure that I had multiple people, like so many people read my personal statement, it was ridiculous. I at least had like 4, 5, or 6 people that I'm thinking of off the top of my head, and I'm sure I sent it to more people than that, in my CV as well. And I would just highly recommend having people look over your stuff before you submit it, because you don't want to have any spelling errors. You don't want it, you know, you want this to be your first impression, and you want it to speak to how great of a person you are and your character, and how experienced you are, and how ready you are for this graduate school program. One of the next videos in the series, I am going to go into detail about personal statements. So I know I just kind of like touched on it here, but there will be a whole video on it. So stay tuned for that too. Okay, tip number 5. Hopefully you guys can see me and hear me. The first tip number 5, like this is just between us, like it got messed up. So tip number 5 is really know and solidify your reason for going to grad school. Graduate schools are looking for people who have a vision for what they want to use this degree for, and know exactly what it is, and have, even if your vision goals change, I think that sometimes people apply to graduate school and apply to certain programs just because it looks good, and that's not the case. Like, that's not how graduate school works. Undergrad kind of works like that, but not for graduate school. I think you really need to focus and hone in on what it is that you want to do, why you want to go, and then make sure that those reasons of why you want to go to graduate school and why you're pursuing this degree and those goals make sense. Number 6, or whatever number we're on, and the last tip is make sure you stay organized and stay on top of these deadlines. It will come up and sneak up on you so fast, and you don't want to be caught off guard and then not submitting your best work. It is very easy to get off track with these applications, especially if you have other stuff going on, classes, families, whatever else you have going on in your life. It is so easy, so easy to just get off track, and then it'll be like the night before and you're trying to do it all, and that's not your best self. And so make sure you give yourself enough room and enough time to submit it, and make sure you stay organized so that you don't forget anything. Make sure you're double and triple checking it, dotting all your I's and crossing all your T's, and it'll be fine, and you're gonna submit it and it's gonna be bomb.com, right? Okay, so those are my 6 tips of how to apply to graduate school and make sure that you submit the best work that you can. Applying to graduate school is a great thing. You are, you know, taking a step to better yourself and better your field, and I'm immensely proud of you for taking this step. Hopefully this tip tips help you. Hopefully you can use this when you're applying for graduate school, and I will see you guys in the next video. Be sure to look out for the rest of the series. I know I kind of touched on it at the beginning. I think the next video will be talking about personal statements, and we can go there. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.